Hi guys, and welcome to this video on the developmental history of Newport by Team 7. Newport covers a geographical range of 73.5 square miles and is one of the three highly urbanized cities in South Wales, along with Cardiff and Swansea. Its industrial strength was founded upon coal, iron and steel. In this video, the changes shown will take place between 1880 and 2020. This video will first explore the general infrastructure of Newport over time, and then move into its exploitation of resources as shown on the index page. We will start by looking at housing, commercial activity, and hospitals. To explore this topic, it will be much more ideal to discuss them by focusing on the city centre of Newport, as indicated by the purple outline on the map. As you can see on the two maps here, it took 14 decades to expand from 3.78 kilometers squared to 30.2. Since the 1880s, the city centre area increased every decade as shown here. However, a lot of data was missing between the 1920s and 1950s. Based on the map alone, it would seem that there were either minor or no changes taking place between these time periods. Again, data in 1990s is limited. Generally, before 1960s development was slow, but it rose rapidly afterwards, developing to what we see on the map today. There was a school and a hospital in Newport since the 1900s until today. The hospital is located in the southwestern part of the city as marked by the diamond marker, and the school is located in the northeastern part with a star marker. Newport's transport links were originally developed for transporting and exporting the materials mined and processed in the city. The city mainly relied on rail transport due to the heavy nature of the materials. Newport's railways increased extensively from the 1880s to the 1930s, with many new lines being added. Being the main mode of transport, expansion of the rail network was the focus of transport development. From the 1960s, the rail network started to be reduced, with railways being downsized and lines removed. Further removal of railway lines continued into the 1970s to 1990s, as shown in the area highlighted on this map. This may have been due to the increase in roads and vehicles suitable for transporting export materials and because nearby factories closed down. As you can see from this map of Newport in the 1990s and present day, the large area that was once filled with railway lines has been replaced by housing development. The extensive rail network once used for transporting materials from the factories into the docks is now gone, being replaced by industrial development and large roads. The roads in Newport in the 1920s were small and less well linked to other areas than they are now. As you can see from the maps, major A and B roads have been built around and through the city. Since the 1960s, Newport has built on what was originally farmland to create important motorway links such as the M4 to connect it with the rest of the country. The M4 was built between the 1960s to the 1970s as shown in the map comparison, evidencing the farmland being replaced by transport development. The docklands in Newport have also seen development changes. In the 1880s, only the Alexandra dock, which opened on 10 April 1875 and shown in the red circle, was located along the River Usk, with most of the land highlighted in the red square being composed of farmland. Under an Act of Parliament of 1882, the South Dock was authorised. It opened on 6 June 1893 and covered an area of nearly 20 acres. It was already obvious that continued growth of business in the docklands required further accommodation, and work was soon started on the South Dock extension. This was opened in November 1907 and the extension was further enlarged by 11 hectares. At the date of opening, the new lock entrance for the South Dock extension was 1,000 feet long and 100 feet in width. To accommodate this extension, a portion of the Ebbw River was diverted and is highlighted by the red square. Since the 1920s, not much development change has been seen in the Newport docklands. This continued on into the 1940s, the 1950s, and all the way into the 1960s. The South Wales coal field. Ever since the Industrial Revolution, the demand for coal as a fuel increased. However, the fluctuation in coal prices resulted in the decline of the coal industries from 1970 onwards. The following are some examples of colliery exploiting coal over time. The Llanover Mine. The Llanover Mine started its exploitation in 1910, situated close to a river and carriageway. It was only around the 1920s that it started its operation for coal, and it continued developing until its closure in 1929. This shows the flowchart of the rise and downfall of the colliery. Bedwas Navigation Colliery. Initially as an empty patch of land, but started operating before or in the 1920s, situated next to a water source and railway. Its development continued until 1985, currently in a state of disuse. Apart from coal, iron ore is another major resource around Newport. Around 16th to 17th century, there was large-scale mining for iron ores in the coal field, bringing it close to exhaustion in the 1930s. Iron smelting started to spread around the edges of the coal field, and the two examples below will focus on those industries around Newport. Orb Steelworks. It started operating around the 1920s next to the River Usk and Railway, and its development continued from the 1900s. In the 1970s, it was converted from an ironworks to a steelworks. The steelworks is still in operation until today. Overall, Newport has really advanced from the 1880s up to the modern world. The expansion and development of Newport has been witnessed through the maps over time, particularly on the infrastructure, transportation, the docklands, and the coal and iron industries. The future economy of Newport is uncertain due to resource exhaustion, but it may be bright and hopeful for the years to come. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Follow us on Facebook and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.